10, so let's start our next sessions. Welcome to this launching event on strategic partnership on driving food systems resilience through nature and innovations. This is a launching event of the ADB's partnership with Wageningen Universities and also the Netherlands. As you know, Wageningen University is a world-leading institution specializing in agriculture, environment, and life science and sustainability. And Netherlands, as you know, the global leader of the promoting sustainable agri-food system and the long-term supporter to ADB's development agenda in Asia and Pacific. So we have a signing ceremony later on with our Vice President, Fatima, but we have a range of speakers from Wageningen University and ADB and the Netherlands, also our partners from IFAD and the GAFSP, because we thought this Wageningen University can be a hub of collaborations between international financing institutions. So with that, we have 3 opening remarks of these sessions. First, I would like to invite Mikey van Ginneken, Special Water Envoy, Kingdom of the Netherlands. So floor is yours. All speakers has 4 minutes, so please keep your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here and to celebrate a long-standing cooperation between the Asian Development Bank and the Netherlands on many issues in which food and water have always been very central. And we're really delighted that today there will be a signing between Wageningen University and Research, one of our prominent institutions on water and food, and the Asian Development Bank. I think it's apt that the theme of today is to work with nature. And probably there's something you can learn from the Netherlands here, because actually in water and food management for a very long time we actually didn't work with nature. We worked against nature. And I think it's only in the past few years that we've actually realized that we cannot fight nature, we cannot fight water, we cannot fight the environment, but we really need to work and find solutions in which the environment and the people in the Netherlands and the people globally live together and work off each other's strength. It's a time in which multilateralism is under pressure, so it's a time we need to stick together, and we will stick together with the Asian Development Bank, with many of the countries that the Asian Development Bank serves, in which we also have bilateral relationships. So I look forward to the signing ceremony today, and I really think that the input, the injection of more Dutch knowledge will help to further the objectives of the Asian Development Bank. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mikey, for opening this ceremonies. Next, I would like to invite our ADB's Vice President for sector and theme, Fatima Yasmin. Please.
Thank you, Shingho. Good morning, distinguished guests and colleagues. It is a privilege to welcome you to this session on driving food systems resilience through nature and innovation. This is a very important topic, as we have already heard. This is more important for Asia and Pacific, as it is grappling with complex challenges of resilience, natural capital loss, food security, food insecurity, and rapidly shifting demographics. Our region faces a stark paradox. On one hand, the region faces widespread hunger and poor nutrition. On the other hand, the agri-food systems continue to strain natural resources. These systems rely heavily on fresh water and land. much of which is already degraded. These trends pose a serious threat to food security, environmental stability, economic growth, and social equity. Against this backdrop, our session focuses on two powerful enablers of transformation: nature-positive solutions and innovation. These are not opposing forces, but complementary. This is a complementary drivers of change where we see the greatest potential to build climate-smart, resilient, and inclusive agri-food systems. One of the most exciting frontiers is the rise of digital agriculture and artificial intelligence. From satellite-enabled precision farming to AI-powered crop diagnostics and climate risk modeling, we are witnessing a shift from reactive to predictive systems. This ensures farming becomes more productive, efficient, and sustainable. But we must ensure smallholders, women, and youth, who form backbone of our rural economies. And we need to ensure that they are part of this innovation. It is in this spirit of collaboration and forward-looking action that I am especially delighted to mark the launch of a new strategy knowledge partnership between Asian Development Bank and Wageningen University and Research. This partnership brings together ADB's regional investment experience with universities' globally recognized expertise in food systems, science, innovation, and sustainability. Together, we aim to co-create practical, scalable solutions that can support project design and implementation across developing member countries. We will do this by strengthening national food systems, supporting long-term food security, and ensuring that growth is both nature-aligned and future-ready. I look forward to an engaging and inspiring discussion with all of you today. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Vice President Fatima, for insightful opening remark. Now, I would like to invite our important partners, Mr. Donald Brown, Associate Vice President of the International Fund for Agricultural Development.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for the invite today. I'm very pleased on behalf of IFAD to be speaking at this event because actually we have a long-running partnership, not only with the Asian Development Bank, actually, but with the government of Netherlands together, which is of particular significance in Bangladesh. It started back in the 1990s and was on developing small-scale water resources together. So it's one of our most successful and long-running partnerships. So I assume that's probably why I got an invite to the podium today, but thank you very much. I think the topic today lies at the heart of IFAD's mission, building resilient food systems through nature-positive solutions and innovation. And I think the key word here is powered by strategic partnerships. As we all know, the global challenges are increasing, not only with climate change, but also with the international context. And strategic partnerships are the engine, including behind IFAD's ability to scale impact. We work hand in hand with governments, sister IFIs, bilateral civil society and the private sector, as well as with small-scale producers themselves. One example of partnerships is with the climate funds, where we blend the climate finance into our development investments, and through this we can build adaptive capacity, restoring degraded ecosystems, introducing drought-resilient crops, and strengthening community-based natural resource management. But we have other partnerships, for example, with the other Rome-based UN agencies, FAO and WFP. And on the innovation front, we continue working to implement affordable and durable solutions at IFAD. One example I'd like to give is, for example, the Upper Tana Catchment Natural Resources Management Project in Kenya, which has been going on for a considerable amount of time. And as we have withdrawn, we now have a sustainable revolving fund in place, funded by people like East African Breweries, Pepsi, the Nairobi City Council, because they've seen the benefits of the project, not only improving the amount of water, but the quality of water flowing into Nairobi. At the same time, reforestation of the upper watershed, as well as improved agricultural techniques, have significantly improved the livelihoods of the small-scale producers in that region. Another example around innovation is we've been doing a series of pilots on enhanced economic and financial analysis efforts, supported by additional funding by the EU and Belgium, which has allowed us to look at going beyond the normal effort analysis and looking at ways to value some of the agroecological benefits as well as costs of transitioning, both for small-scale producers but also for MSMEs in that context. It does allow us to target much better, and governments to target much better financial investments at key points in the chain to get a much stronger set of benefits on the agroecological side. We've done this in the project that we've recently finalized in Bolivia and also in Senegal. But just maybe lastly, innovation is not just about technology in our view, it's also about partnerships, the key to the conversation today. And it's not just about partnerships with governments, with the private sector, but also through partnerships with organizations like the Indigenous Peoples organizations and producer organizations, both of which IFAD hosts. We're trying to ensure it's inclusive, and we are embedding equity and traditional ecological knowledge into project design and decision making. So looking forward, we look forward to expanding our partnerships and unlocking the financing needed for this transition, because building food systems resilience is not a linear journey. It will need coordinated action amongst us all. And I think today, looking at the partnership about to be signed between the Asian Development Bank and Wageningen, I think it's a good example of the sort of partnerships that are needed. So thank you very much, and IFAD continues to be a trusted partner.
Thank you very much, Donna, for the highlighting this importance of this partnership. So now we have one presentation from ADB side, and we have keynote speech from the Wageningen University. So now I would like to invite Qingfan Zhang, Senior Director of Agriculture, Food, Nature, Rural Development Sector Office of the Asian Development Bank.
So good morning, everyone. Again, thank you so much, VP Fatima, and also Netherlands Water Ambassador, and also IFA's VP Donna for your insightful opening remarks. Again, today's session is so critical. Many of the colleagues in this room already heard President Kanda just announced ADB's $14 billion ambition for food system transformation, alongside with the establishment of Asia Pacific Natural Capital Fund. Again, today we take the next step, launch the ADB WUR partnership to drive the resilience through the nature and also innovation. Very timely, and of course it's urgently needed. I'm going to take a few slides to share where we come from and also how to move to the next stage. Again, Wageningen University being an integral part of the when we FI talking about 5 key elements of the food system transformation. Again, I'm going to emphasize these 5 key elements. Strengthening agricultural value chain, expanding social protection, and then investing in natural capital, and upgrading infrastructure for food system, and finally is ensuring nutrition for our most vulnerable peoples. So again, along with the announcement of the $40 billion ambition, he also mentioned about importance for balanced nature and also the food security. He mentioned about this flagship initiative, and this approach, we're going to establish the $150 million natural capital fund, of course, supported by Global Investment Facility, and then later Natessa can also elaborate the potential contribution from the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program. Again, this blended financing platform is catalyze our investment in agro-food system, particularly for those small farmers and also innovators, SMEs, which can protect, restore, and manage the natural capital sustainably across one of the DMCs. Again, these 5 key elements, and at the same time, this natural capital fund, going to support us build up the resilience through the nature and the innovations. But when we're talking about scale up, not only just about the financing, it's need to also introduce science-based solutions. That's why we need to loop the WUR in this long-term relations. Again, Wageningen University is, of course, later on our president going to elaborate, but I was quite impressed because just last year I had the opportunity with my team to stay there, have the deep dive for 3 days. WUR is a global leader, ranking as the #1 in agriculture, if I may correct it, and also the forestry is the #1 as well. #2 globally, environmental science, together with the Harvard University, by the way. So our last year with Wageningen University, we saw the first-hand innovation ecosystem WUR needs, actually including the Farm of the Future, and also the Food Lab, and also the Start Life Accelerator. We call it the Food Thinking Valley, there in the European side. Again, our visit also reminds us 3 key things. #1, the WUR and also my sector office, Agriculture, Food, Nature, Rural Development Sector Office, we share the same vision. WUR vision is explore the potential of the nature to improve the life, very much aligned with the ADB goals of investing in nature, vitalize the rural economy. Second, WUR 6 pillars spanning emergency responses, nutrition, and saying agriculture, agroforestry, digital tools, nature-based solutions. One of them very much aligned with these 5 key components of ADB's food system transformation approach. Finally, this partnership can elaborate our joint investment, particularly for R&D, and also policy financing interventions, and the digital skill, and also the more importantly, for the knowledge creation. So for this one, I quickly share is we're going to work on a number of the key areas, design the KMS small and also nutrition sensitive investment. We're going to work together, translate science into the policy and finance, and also scale up digital agricultural database solutions, and also need the joint research, training, and technical support. More importantly, Wageningen University, WUR, was quite committed, want to jointly shaping our global conversation for food system transformation. Again, we have this IFI Global Forum for the Food System Transformation, led by the ADB, IFA, and also Inter-American Bank, and also World Bank. And now WUR hope one day they can also host the IFI Global Forum. So with that, probably quickly to share is this is a very important timely partnership we need. It's very important to bridge ambitious investment together with the world-class science. So with WUR, with this partnership, we can build a very important platform to nourish both people, livelihood, and also the planet. So with that, thank you so much. I hand over to our WUR president. Thank you.
Thank you, Qingfang, for overview of these collaborations. Now, we'd like to invite Dr. Shoke Heimobara, the president of the WUR, for her keynote speech, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thanks for all the former speakers for the kind words about WUR, which I fully support. Distinguished guests, partners, and colleagues, it's a privilege and an honor to be invited to deliver this keynote here at the launch of the Food Systems Innovation Partnership. And let's face it, it's more urgent than ever to transform our food systems. In the face of the unprecedented global challenges, the rising geopolitical tensions, climate change, the ever-increasing strain on our resources, on our natural resources, we must urgently rethink how we produce, distribute, and consume food. If we want people to be food secure all over the world, we need to act now. So I was very happy to hear that the Asian Development Bank provides $26 billion on new funding to tackle food insecurity, adding to its already $40 billion commitment from 2022, including about $11 billion dedicated to private sector investments to help transform food systems. A truly remarkable initiative. At Wageningen University and Research, food systems are at the heart of our mission. We work on all 5 elements of the transformation that Mr. Qingfang Zhang just highlighted. We aim to forge bold partnerships, engineer solutions, and push the boundaries of discovery and innovation, all with one purpose: to create and champion a future where production and consumption systems are in harmony with nature, always. We are proud to be at the forefront of research and innovation in food systems transformation. Through a range of interdisciplinary programs and strategic partnerships, we are committed to contributing to solutions that are both sustainable and scalable. Today, we launched the Food Systems Innovation Partnerships between Asian Development Bank and Wageningen University and Research. We both share a common vision: to address the urgent, interconnected challenges of food insecurity, climate change, and biodiversity loss. Our institutions bring complementary strength: WUR's deep scientific expertise and ADB's reach and convening power, which makes a partnership of real potential and real purpose. The challenges we face are global, but are pronounced in Asia. where ADB is focusing on. We are proud to be able to work together with ADB in and for Asia. Our continued collaboration in this region is important. Over the past few years, engagement between Wageningen University and Research and Asian Development Bank has deepened through initiatives such as the Water Food Learning Week. The success of the most recent edition, co-hosted at the campus of Wageningen, is a testament to what we can achieve together. And we are in active discussions to host the IFI Forum at WER in the coming months, a responsibility we take with great pride. So I'm looking forward to the panel session today, Accelerating Food System Transformation in Asia and the Pacific through partnership with the Netherlands, in which one of my colleagues from WER, Anthony Verschoor, will participate. And it's with delight to share that today marks this significant milestone, the formal signing of a collaboration agreement between Wageningen University Research and Asian Development Bank. This is the culmination of much effort and mutual commitment, and more than that, it is the beginning of a new chapter, one that I hope will lead to an even deeper collaboration, greater impact, and lasting contributions to the global effort of sustainable development. And what could be more fitting than to launch this partnership at the occasion of this 58th annual meeting with the theme, Sharing Experience, Building Tomorrow. Because I believe this is exactly what we aim to do together. And I look forward to the work ahead together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Shokei, for your strong commitment to our partnership. So now we have short panel discussions on accelerating food system transformation in Asia Pacific through partnership. I would like to invite our panelists. First, Maaike van Ginneken, Special Water Envoy, the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Anthony Westcourt, Program Lead and Food Security and Water Security and WUR. From ADB, Yoko Watanabe, Director of Environment and CCSD, Climate Change and Sustainable Development. And I would also like to invite Natasha Hayward from GASP, Program Manager. Please. So Mikey, thank you for your insightful opening remarks. So to elaborate your remarks, how can Netherlands' integrated approach to water, agriculture, landscape management contribute to dealing with Asia's pressing challenges of water stress, land degradations, and food insecurity?
Yeah, thanks very much. And I think we often talk about climate change, but we also know that the challenges to food security and to water security are not only because of climate change, they're because of overuse of water resources, they're because of changing land use patterns, and because of growing population and industrialization. So we need an integrated approach to make water and food part of the solution and not part of the problem. And I think what we do in the Netherlands and what's applicable to Asia and the Pacific is really a three-tiers approach, which has to do with the title of this session, because the first part is the best innovation and technology. We still have a lot to learn and we can do a lot with innovation and technology. But I think we also need to realize that we're not going to innovate ourselves out of this. It's more than just engineering and technology. And the second part of this is to really look at the water buffers in nature. In the Netherlands, we've nearly drained all of our wetlands. Worldwide, 30% of wetlands have been drained in the past 4 decades, and we need more water storage capacity in nature. There's a lot of discussion about large dams, but 99% of water storage is in nature. And what's especially important, that's why farmers are the most important water managers, is that the green water in the soil is a very important part of the water cycle. We saw that with the new report of the Global Commission on the Economics of Water. So innovation, thinking about nature and water buffers, and the third one is spatial planning. Maybe spatial planning is really the central thought of being climate adaptive. We need to realize not everything is possible everywhere anymore. Probably it was never a good idea to grow cotton or avocados in the desert. With changing rainfall patterns, we need to stop that. We cannot build in floodplains. So we really need, governments need to make very tough decisions. The innovation and technology part is always politically a shining object and everybody wants it. But it's those deeper measures around spatial planning, about nature, about how we use farmers as water managers that are really crucial in the Netherlands, but in different forms in Asia and the Pacific, whether you have too much water or too little water.
Thank you very much, Mikey. And the experience of Netherlands is extremely important for Asia Pacific. And you have very deep experience of histories that we can learn from your countries. So now to Anthony, and thank you very much for hosting this Water Learning Week from ADB delegation. We are very, very excited about these opportunities. So my question is, how can WR's integrated science across water, biodiversity, agriculture help ADB to design investment projects that address food security, ecosystem resilience together, particularly in climate vulnerable regions in our regions?
Thank you very much. That's a very interesting question. And the first thing that I would like to emphasize is it's not only science that will solve these problems. And it's already in the title of this session, it's about partnerships. And especially in the Netherlands, we are used to build partnerships together with governments, with knowledge institutions, with private companies, together with the general public, and we call this the Dutch diamond. And that's always the way that we handle things. And these such multi-stakeholder partnerships, they are at the heart of collaboration. Ching Feng already mentioned the Food Valley, which is also a very successful example of how we can collaborate within one theme on a certain topics. And that's also how we see the partnership with the ADB, that we collaborate with, as a knowledge partner, maybe with other knowledge partners, together with ADB and also with the development membership countries on the issues that are locally but also have global effects. The other thing, how do we do this from more a scientific point of view, is we like to take the systems approach. It was also mentioned by Maaike. In the Netherlands, we are very strong at using a systems approach. So food systems are not just isolated things. They are connected to the ecosystems. Maybe they're one and the same thing, actually, because they're all intricately connected through the water system, through the soil system. And these are the complex relationships that we try to make clear. So by using data and models, we try to show, what are the trade-offs and the benefits that you can gather, and where are the dilemmas, what are the options that you can take, what are real-world scenarios that are, when facing such difficult choices.
Thank you very much, Anthony. And this is, importance of partnership, and particularly for this multidisciplinary approach that we would like to learn. So now from ADB side, the ADB is trying to mainstream natural capital investment, nature-based solutions. How do you see the partnership of WUR enhancing our ability to mainstream those aspects and climate smart agriculture across food system investment?
Great, thank you so much, Shingo, and inviting me to this really exciting panel. First of all, investing in nature and using nature-based solution to climate and also for sustainable development is in the core of ADB's agenda. As you have been hearing President Kanda's speech yesterday, as well as many sessions this morning as well, we are putting nature as a foundation for economic growth as well as livelihood improvement of many vulnerable communities around Asia and the Pacific. And actually, agriculture is one of a driver of biodiversity loss, I must say. If we did it right, actually, this is the biggest opportunity that we can use the land in a right way, manage the natural resources in a more efficient and effective ways, and really sort of the transition of food system can be achieved by utilizing natural resources. So in order to do that, we have developed the Environmental Action Plan last year in ADB, which actually sets sort of the direction of us on how we're going to be conserving biodiversity, addressing air pollution, promoting circular economy, and utilize nature-based solutions in our approaches across the board. And actually working with agriculture sector with Jingfeng's team has been one of the core of what we have been trying to do on putting nature in the center of how we work on agriculture. And in order to do that, I feel that this partnership has 3 elements that we can really work on. One is to really do the project design right. Because, one thing to say, oh, let's do regenerative agriculture, it's an easy thing to say, but to do it right and have a really impact that we can measure is not an easy thing to do. And I think, building on the WR's experience on how to monitor, how to measure, and how to assess these elements like soil and water and also other benefits that comes from regenerative agriculture and more other sustainable climate agriculture would be a really core. And second, in order to design and monitor, we really need good data and good data collection and also how to use that data. And I really want to emphasize that using the data part, because there are many data around, but we don't have many times capacity, and also our developing member countries require that capacity to utilize these existing as well as generated data. And finally, what I really also wanted to highlight is, as the first speaker mentioned, we really want to learn from your innovation and also, learn lessons from that. We're always eager to see what can be applied in Asia and Pacific. There are many other, regions that apply different methodologies. We are applying the natural capital accounting and valuation in our system as well. Jingfeng's team is really promoting that together with my team in environment. We'd like to do more on those and innovate and see what we can do to really support the developing member countries on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yoko, highlighting these innovations, and we're really looking forward to working with your team to bring this innovative design and these nature-based solutions together with the WR. So next is Natasha. You're the Program Manager of Global Agriculture Food Security Program. I have participated in the discussion of the steering committee a few weeks ago, highlighting a lot about innovations in this Vision 2030. How do you see this, this collaboration can enhance the innovative project design? How can this GAFSP can be a partner of these collaborations?
Thanks, Shingo, and thanks also for the opportunity to be here. And maybe I can frame my remarks initially from more of the World Bank broader perspective, and then think about GAFSP as an instrument in helping us respond to your question. So I had the benefit of being in an earlier session today where there was some reflection on the twin crises that we're facing, right, in terms of food security, but also biodiversity and nature loss. And hearing as well on this panel, about the need for systems thinking for a really complex, wicked problem, and the role of innovations in responding to that. I think from the bank, what we often reflect is that we see a gap between, the generation, testing of innovative responses, and the uptake and application at scale. And maybe that's something which you're also seeing in your institutions. And so, for us, we've really been reflecting upon what is it that can help us try and scale, or enable access and then scale those innovations. And so I think GAFSP as an instrument actually reflects for us, I think, two parts of the response to that. And part of that is on financing and the nature of the financing that's offered and available, and the other is on, partnerships themselves. Maybe on the financing side, GAFSP, I think, is these days a bit of a rare instrument in that one of its tools is grant-based financing. offered to country governments in the lowest income countries, also to producers' organizations. And what we hear repeatedly, what perhaps you were reflecting on at the steering committee, is how useful that grant financing is in being able to enable governments, partners, practitioners on the ground to test innovative approaches. Oftentimes we hear, our governments they're more reluctant to either borrow for innovation or to spend, own source revenue on very new areas which are as yet untested. So grant financing, even in this scarce ODA world, actually is a critical part of that response. Similarly, on the private sector side, I think we've heard a little bit about blended finance earlier. And again, for GAFS, we offer blended finance solutions as well. And it's very similar, trying to kind of de-risk those first steps into what may be less certain investments, right, which will allow the testing of newer, more innovative approaches. And of course, you want the experience ultimately to be financially viable and sustainable, but there is a place for DFIs, for blended finance in trying to drive those first steps when we see really the need to support access to and scaling up of innovation. And maybe just on the partnership piece, at GAFS, we have the immense fortune of working with all three of the Rome-based agencies. We heard from IFAD earlier, but also WFP and FAO, and the three regional MDBs, including yourselves at Asian Development Bank and the World Bank Group. And it's quite rare to have all those players around the table in one space, and in a space where they can both document and disseminate experience and innovation. And maybe another piece of that is also to try and avoid duplication, right? So having these partnership spaces for the sharing of experience, for coordinating, for more effective responses, and for really providing both the financing and the venue to support uptake and scaling of innovations like the ones which I hope this partnership is going to generate is I think, a really important part of the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. And ADB really consider ourselves as a role to scale up those innovations together with various partners. And I really appreciate GAFSP's support to ADB project. And we could design this nutrition, gender, climate, so many new dimensions. We learn also a lot from project in other IFIs through the GAFSP. So really appreciate that. So we'd like to continue discussion, but unfortunately we have limited time. So I think we'd like to move forward the signing ceremony. It's an important part. So I'd like to invite our Vice President Fatima and also the President Shoke to the stage. Thank you very much.
As we conclude today's session, I want to sincerely thank all of you, our speakers, partners, and participants for this insightful energy and commitment for this important agenda. I must admit, I was an investment banker in my former life. So, nutrition or food security, all these things are not my go-to. But through the lens of an investment banker, what I thought was the investment in food security and nutrition and the innovation has so much more return, actually, than any other investment I can think of, because it is so important to the maximization of the most important resource that we have. That's people, right? For human development, I mean, as you know, 370 million people in Asia Pacific go hungry every night. I mean, if we could have the food security for all of them, imagine the productivity gains you can have, besides for the misery that we can prevent. So this agenda, this topic, this partnership, this collaboration is extremely important to me to go forward with this very important agenda. And we really are grateful to the Wageningen University and Research and the government of Netherlands. I mean, we are really laying the foundation for more resilient, equitable, and sustainable future. We are going to work with nature and not against nature, right? We heard today that challenges we face, we all live it every day, the climate change challenges. There's going to be so much that's needed in innovation too, for us to live through the climate change challenges. Of course, we don't know. We have to have better ways of estimating where we're going to be able to grow the right foods. Not going to grow avocados in the desert, really. So what is nature positive? What prevents the erosion of nature capital? Natural capital? They're all related to one another, and we need solutions, we need innovations. But I think it was also mentioned that we need innovations that don't go beyond and which really deliver what we like to call in ADB cheaper, faster, better output. And in order to do that, we need to be sustainable, resilient, and affordable. So with all of those challenges, I think we can scale climate-smart agriculture, deploy nature-based solutions for land and water, and harness digital technologies, track resilience, better data, right, Yoko? And restore ecosystems. These are not just technical fixes, they are strategic pathways which align our shared goals of long-term food security, climate action, and inclusive growth. We also discussed how this collaboration can support ADB's client countries by creating solutions that are locally grounded and regionally scalable. I think the word is scalable, because we see a lot of pilot projects that go extremely well but are never scaled. So again, the affordability part comes in. Partnerships like this one are essential, and not just for knowledge exchange, but for collective action. And because no one institution can do this all, transform the entire food system? No, we can't do it alone. But together, we can turn today's complex challenges into tomorrow's shared successes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DG Will. So with that, we'd like to close this very insightful sessions on this partnership with WR and ADB. And please give another big hand to all the participants. Thank you very much.